Chosen one, justice works in your favor. Some battles are not won with words, but with the power of the Spirit. Your innocence, your righteousness has echoed in the heavens, and the judgment is now on your side. The moments when you thought people were judging you were actually the moments when you were being tested. But behold, in that court, in that scale, your righteousness prevailed. The plans of your enemies have been thwarted. The obstacles set before you have been reversed. They set up a scheme to accuse you, but without even realizing it, they glorified you even more. Divine justice has made your innocence a touchstone, and the scales have turned in your favor. Now it is time to rise. Those who wanted to hinder you must now watch you rise. Those who try to stop you have to squint in front of your light. Because the victory sealed in your name cannot be taken back. Get ready and write 77 in the comments. Because the gates of the heavens are opening and a new era is beginning for you. They thought their words would define your downfall, but they unknowingly scripted their own collapse. The same voices that wove deception and betrayal will witness their own undoing. This isn't mere consequence. This is the unseen hand of divine order at work. Every falsehood spoken against you is being reversed, every scheme unraveling under its own weight. What was meant to silence you will instead amplify your purpose. Stand firm, because the shift is happening. Those who believed they had control over your fate will soon watch as their own plans dissolve into nothing. This is your time of unshakable redemption. There is a force beyond human manipulation that governs justice, a law that no deception can escape. When malicious tongues rise, their words become the instruments of their own reckoning. The whispers spoken in secrecy are being exposed under the brilliance of unrelenting truth. It is not a gradual decline, but an implosion, sudden and unavoidable. Integrity does not require defense when falsehood is busy dismantling itself. The trap set for you becomes the pit they cannot escape. Their accusations, their slander, their attempts to cast shadows upon your name only serve as a backdrop for your light to shine even brighter. They weaponized words, unaware that justice has a way of bending them back in unexpected directions. History is laced with echoes of this principle. The mighty have fallen by their own strategies, and those who sought to bury truth found themselves swallowed by the very system they trusted. The arrogant build their own undoing, mistaking their momentary advantage for permanence. Betrayal never holds power for long. What is hidden will always come to light, and those who manipulate will one day find themselves entangled in their own deception. The path they paved for destruction is the road they will walk alone. In every era, those who walk in purpose have faced opposition. Some have been ridiculed, silenced, even erased from the narratives of their time. But endurance rewrites history. Those who withstand the storm emerge as the architects of new realities, their persistence standing as the ultimate testimony against doubt. Every attempt to erase them becomes the ink that inscribes their legacy. When resistance rises against you, know that truth never needs to fight for its place. It simply endures until all falsehood fades away. Speech is a force, and not all words are spoken with pure intent. There are voices that disguise harm beneath the pretense of concern, whispers that corrode foundations long before the cracks appear. Slander does not operate in direct confrontation, but in slow erosion, shifting perceptions and distorting realities. It seeks not only to wound, but to rewrite the story, replacing truth with a carefully constructed illusion. Yet deception is never eternal. The very act of weaving falsehood plants the seeds of its unraveling. Those who thrive on distortion will one day face the weight of their own dishonesty. No facade lasts forever, and when the dust settles, only truth remains standing. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. Falsehood is a fragile illusion, a mirage that momentarily distorts reality but can never outlast truth. Deception operates through calculated misdirection, constructing narratives that serve those who wield them. It seeks to imprison its victims in uncertainty, wrapping them in chains of doubt. Yet, every lie carries its own expiration date. The weight of deception eventually collapses upon its source, corroding trust, unraveling stability, and exposing the dishonesty for all to see. Those who trade in falsehoods will ultimately be consumed by them. Their schemes, like smoke, may cloud perception for a time, but they cannot erase what is destined to stand. Integrity does not require defense. It is a fortress that outlasts every storm. Nothing designed to bring harm can outmaneuver divine authority. The hand of providence ensures that no fabricated attack will derail a path ordained for fulfillment. When distractions arise, recognize them for what they are: mere attempts to redirect energy away from purpose. Opposition is inevitable for those who walk in alignment, but the weapons formed against them hold no lasting power. Purpose is its own shield, and the momentum of destiny cannot be halted by deception. History has seen this cycle unfold time and time again. Those who build their empires upon deception find their own words undoing them. The manipulative believe they hold the upper hand, only to discover that the very forces they conjured will be their undoing. The nature of falsehood is self-destructive. It erodes trust, fractures alliances, and dismantles even the most carefully plotted schemes. There is no permanence in deception. It is a house built upon shifting sands, incapable of withstanding the winds of truth. Time does not favor the dishonest. When slander is used as a weapon, its intended target is not the only one affected. These distortions infiltrate relationships, planting seeds of division and turning allies into adversaries. Mistrust spreads like an unseen force, corroding the bonds that once held strong. But slander, though damaging, is not invincible. Truth has a way of resurfacing, restoring clarity to those who have been misled. The voices that once whispered deception will, in the end, be forced to reckon with the consequences of their own words. False narratives are tools of disruption, designed to create instability and uncertainty. Their effectiveness relies on human nature, on the willingness of others to believe without question, to accept surface-level distortions as fact. Lies gain traction in environments where division thrives, where personal insecurities and unchecked biases provide fertile ground for deception to take root. But perception does not dictate reality. The most convincing falsehoods still crumble beneath the weight of undeniable truth. There is no need to chase vindication. It comes in its own time. Darkness cannot sustain itself when exposed to light. Those who attempt to rewrite your story through deception will watch as the ink of their falsehoods fades into nothing. The greatest response to slander is steadfastness, the refusal to waver under the pressure of manipulation. Truth is relentless, it cannot be buried, and it does not yield. The storm may rage, but when it passes, only what is unshakable will remain. Truth is unshakable, standing firm, no matter how many attempts are made to suppress it. Those who seek to distort reality with lies do so out of fear, knowing deep down that deception is fleeting. The weight of falsehood demands constant reinforcement, an exhausting effort that eventually leads to collapse. In contrast, truth requires no maintenance. It exists beyond manipulation, unbreakable and self-sustaining. The moment deception unravels, those who trusted in distortion find themselves stranded, watching as the ground beneath them crumbles. Lies may masquerade as certainty for a time, but nothing built on deception can withstand the force of revelation. Vindication is not a matter of retaliation, but of endurance. When integrity stands firm, those who once accepted falsehood begin to question their own perceptions. Reality cannot be permanently distorted. Clarity always finds its way through the fog of deception. Those who once spread rumors watch as their own credibility erodes, not because of external attack, but because truth exposes all things in due time. As misrepresentations unravel, the contrast between authenticity and falsehood becomes undeniable. What was once a campaign of slander becomes an embarrassing display of inconsistency. Time has a way of bringing everything to light. No manipulation, no scheme, no crafted illusion can outlast the endurance of truth. The longer deception lingers, the more tangled it becomes, trapping its originators in the very net they cast. Patterns emerge, exposing contradictions, and the once believable facade loses its power. Observers begin to recognize the difference between genuine character and the instability of those who fabricate narratives. The whispers that once held weight become empty echoes, unable to sustain their own distortion. Silence becomes the strongest response. Those rooted in truth do not need to defend themselves against deception. The inconsistency of falsehood does the work on its own. The frantic efforts of the deceivers to control their crumbling narrative reveal more than any argument ever could. While they scramble for justification, those who walk in integrity move forward, untouched by the chaos left behind. Vindication is not sought. It arrives naturally as the deception collapses under its own weight. Imagine an eagle soaring high above the storm. While other birds seek shelter, hiding from the turbulence, the eagle spreads its wings and lets the very winds of the storm lift it higher. The same force that threatens to bring others down becomes the power that carries it beyond the clouds. That's what happens when you walk in divine purpose. What was meant to hinder you becomes the very thing that takes you further than you ever imagined. Elevation comes not as a reward for suffering, but as the natural outcome of unwavering faith. The obstacles meant to destroy become stepping stones to something greater. What was once opposition turns into fuel for momentum. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to prove yourself to people who were never meant to walk with you. When you trust the divine process, you will find that those trying to hold you back are simply scaffolding, temporary, necessary for a time, but never meant to stay. And once your foundation is set, the scaffolding falls away, leaving nothing but the strength of what God has built within you. Some of you have been praying for doors to open, but what if I told you that the delay wasn't a denial? It was divine positioning. You weren't being overlooked. You were being prepared. You weren't being ignored. You were being hidden for the right season. Because what's coming next isn't just an opportunity, it's a divine appointment. And when it arrives, you won't have to force it, beg for it, or chase it. It will come looking for you. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the super thank you button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. Opposition fades, not because it is silenced, but because it loses its relevance. There are people who built their whole identity around doubting you, underestimating you, and speaking against you. But hear me now. Your success will outlive their criticism. When God places His hand upon you, there isn't a rumor, a lie, or a single closed door that can stop what He has already set in motion. They will watch as the very thing they said would never happen unfolds right in front of them. But by then, their words won't matter, because you'll be too busy walking in the blessing. You don't have to chase validation. You don't have to explain yourself. Some of you have wasted time trying to prove your worth to people who were never assigned to recognize it. You keep knocking on doors that were never yours to enter. Stop chasing approval. Stop defending what God has already confirmed. The moment you stop seeking their validation, you step into a level of freedom they can't touch. And let me tell you, when God decides to promote you, no committee, no critic, no hater can block what's already set in motion. Where doors were once locked, opportunities now emerge. What you thought was rejection was actually redirection. What you thought was a setback was actually a setup. Favor follows those who refuse to be shaken by deception. Some people don't understand why you keep getting up after every fall. They don't know how you keep going after every disappointment. But what they don't realize is that you're not moving on your own strength. You're being carried by something bigger than you. God doesn't just restore, He multiplies. He doesn't just give back, He gives more than you had before. You ever seen a seed break through the dirt? Buried deep, covered in darkness, pressed down by the weight of the earth? But that seed doesn't die there. No, sir. That seed is preparing. That seed is gathering strength. And when the time is right, it pushes through the soil, stretching toward the light, unstoppable, undeniable. What looked like burial was actually preparation for breakthrough. Some of you feel like you've been buried, but God is saying, you're not buried, you're planted. And when it's your season, nothing in this world can stop you from breaking through. Listen, I don't know who this is for, but you need to hear this. The struggle you thought would break you is the very thing that is about to bless you. The battle you thought would take you out is actually leading you straight into your breakthrough. The very thing that was meant to stop you is the exact thing that is pushing you forward. Elevation is inevitable when you walk in alignment with purpose. You ever seen how a diamond is formed? It starts as nothing but a lump of coal, buried deep in the earth, unseen, overlooked, considered ordinary. But let that coal be put under enough pressure, enough heat, enough time, and something extraordinary happens. It transforms. It becomes a diamond, stronger, unbreakable, priceless. That's exactly what's happening in your life right now. The pressure isn't here to break you. It's here to refine you, The heat isn't here to consume you, it's here to strengthen you. Every hardship, every challenge, every moment you thought would take you out is actually making you into something rare, something valuable, something untouchable. There are forces that have tried to hold you down, but what they didn't realize is that every push against you only made you stronger. Every hardship, every disappointment, every betrayal, it wasn't sent to destroy you, it was sent to develop you. You've been stretched, you've been pressed, you've been tested. But let me tell you, just like gold is purified in fire, you are coming out of this refined, shining, unstoppable. You thought the opposition was working against you, but it was actually working for you. Every trial you've faced was not a sign of defeat. It was a sign of preparation. Some of you have been through a season where you felt buried, like the weight of the world was pressing down on you. But hear me, you're not buried, you're planted. And when the time is right, just like a seed pushing through the soil, you're going to break forth into something greater than you ever imagined. I know it's been hard. I know there were moments when you thought, God, where are you? Why is this happening to me? But listen, God has not forgotten you. He's been working behind the scenes, setting things in motion, preparing the right people, the right opportunities, the right breakthroughs. And when it happens, you're going to look back and realize that every trial, every tear, every late night, wondering if you'd ever see the promise, it was all part of the process. So don't let the pressure make you give up. Don't let the struggle make you question your purpose. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Gold isn't purified without fire, and your calling isn't fulfilled without refinement. You are being shaped for something greater. The very things that were meant to break you are the very things God is using to build you. Get ready, because the pressure that's been on you is about to produce something so powerful, so undeniable, that even those who doubted you will have no choice but to see what God has done. You're stepping into a season where the weight of your struggle is about to be replaced by the weight of your blessing. What's coming is bigger than what's been. Keep pressing, keep believing, because you are coming out of this stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever before. And here's the part they never see coming. The very thing that was meant for your downfall is turning into the foundation of your rise. The people who counted you out will have to watch as God lifts you higher. The closed doors, the rejection, the setbacks, they were never denials. They were detours leading you to something greater. God does not subtract, He multiplies. He does not just restore, He increases. When the enemy thought he had you trapped, when it looked like the odds were stacked against you, heaven was already orchestrating your promotion. And hear me now, when God says it's time to rise, nothing, no person, no circumstance, no past mistake can keep you down. What's for you has your name on it, and it doesn't matter who tries to block it. If God has ordained it, it's coming to pass. Some of you have been in a season of waiting. You've been wondering, Lord, when is it my time? Why does it feel like everyone else is moving forward while I'm stuck? But let me remind you, delay is not denial. God is not punishing you. He is positioning you. He's working behind the scenes, aligning things in ways you can't even see yet. You're not late. You're not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. And when the time is right, you're going to step into something so incredible that you'll look back and understand why the waiting was necessary. Because here's the truth. What's coming is bigger than you imagined. That's why you had to go through what you did. That's why you had to be stretched. That's why you had to let some things go, walk away from certain people, Release old mindsets. You are being prepared for a level of blessing that can't be carried with small thinking and heavy baggage. And when you step into that blessing, when the doors swing wide, when the favor starts flowing, don't be surprised when the same ones who doubted you suddenly start showing up. Don't be shocked when the same ones who spoke against you now want to be connected to you. But let me remind you, not everyone who was part of your past is meant to be part of your future. Some people were seasonal, meant to teach you, meant to challenge you, but not meant to go where you're going. So stand firm, stay focused. Don't let distractions pull you off course. Your breakthrough is not coming. It's already in motion. And when it arrives, it's going to be undeniable, unstoppable, and immeasurable. What was meant to break you is about to bless you. Get ready, because you're stepping into something greater than you ever dreamed. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them count you out. Because when God counts you in, their opinion becomes irrelevant. You are stepping into something so big, so undeniable, that even those who didn't believe in you will have no choice but to acknowledge what God has done. And when that moment comes, you won't even need to say, "I told you so." Your life, your peace, your success, it will speak louder than any words ever could. So keep soaring, keep moving, keep trusting, because the storm was never meant to stop you. It was meant to lift you. And you, my friend, are about to rise higher than you ever imagined. The ultimate triumph is not simply in survival, but in transformation. Adversity refines those who endure, shaping them into stronger, wiser, and more resolute versions of themselves. Those who sought to hinder only contributed to an even greater rise. The falsehoods that once sought to dim a light only intensified its brilliance. In the end, truth does not just prevail, it radiates, undeniable and unchallenged. There was a time when doubts surrounded me, when words were spoken in shadows to undermine what I was building. I chose not to engage. I did not fight to prove my worth. Instead, I kept moving, allowing my actions to speak long before my voice was needed. Now, those who once dismissed me watch as the very foundation they questioned becomes undeniable. This is how divine alignment works. What was meant to diminish you only strengthens your presence. Every attempt to discredit you serves a higher purpose, positioning you where you were meant to be all along. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Not all battles require your participation. Some are meant to be ignored, for they are designed not to harm you, but to distract you. The greatest deception of negativity is its demand for attention. When you engage, you validate it. When you respond, you fuel it. The wisest move is to withhold your energy, to recognize that not every voice deserves an audience. Let your boundaries stand firm. Let your focus remain unwavering. Your calling is too valuable to be sidetracked by whispers meant to shake your foundation. There is nothing random about the challenges you face. Every difficulty carries purpose. Every obstacle refines you. What seems like opposition is often the very thing pushing you into greater alignment. Timing is not accidental. It is a sequence orchestrated with precision, ensuring that even the resistance you endure becomes a tool for elevation. The words spoken against you hold no authority over what is already written for you. Their attempts to hinder you are powerless against divine purpose. Delay is never denial. It is preparation for something beyond imagination. You are not here by coincidence. Every step you take is intentional, guided by something greater than the noise around you. Move with confidence, not as a reaction to those who oppose you, but as a statement of the destiny unfolding before you. Their roadblocks will become stepping stones. Their doubt will be drowned out by the evidence of your perseverance. Nothing spoken against you will stand when truth is your foundation. Your story is not one of defeat, but of triumph. The very forces meant to limit you will become the reason you rise higher. What was plotted to harm you will be transformed into undeniable victory. Every struggle, every misjudgment, every false word spoken in your absence will be rendered powerless. And when all is said and done, your journey will serve as inspiration to those who need to see that faith and resilience always prevail. So keep walking forward. Keep standing firm. The weight of your testimony will be greater than any opposition you have ever faced.